Good morning and welcome to the August 17th, 2026 meeting of the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality. It is 9:01 a.m. I'm joined here by my colleagues Katarina Gonzalez and Tanya Miller, our General Counsel, Mary Smith, and no OPIC today. For each item that argument or discussion is allowed, we'll inform the parties and the public of time limits for their discussion. Registration closed at 9:30, but if you'd like to address the commission on an item, please visit our registration table, or if you're on the webinar, email agenda@tceq.texas.gov with your name, affiliation, and the item you'd wish to comment on, and we will do our absolute best to accommodate the request. For those making presentations, you too, please wait to begin your presentation until I have asked you to begin speaking, and please check to make sure your line is unmuted before proceeding. All right, Mary, first item.
Item number 1 is the consideration for approval of the agency's FY 2027 operating budget and FY 2028-2029 legislative appropriations request. And the executive director's staff is here to present this item.
Good morning, y'all.
Good morning. Chairwoman Pop, Commissioner Gonzalez, Commissioner Miller, good morning. For the record, my name is Stephen Shaw. I'm the Deputy Executive Director, and I am joined by my colleague Elizabeth Cifuentes-Koch, who is our Chief Budget and Efficiency Officer. And today we seek your approval for the agency's fiscal year 2027 operating budget and fiscal year 28-29 legislative appropriation request. Before we begin, I would like to say how grateful we are to the governor and the legislature for the resources and funding provided in the 89th legislative session. Last session, the agency received around $110 million and 175 FTEs. These resources support air permitting workloads, challenges in federal regulations, the transfer of the TLAP program, the resources for produced water, Senate Bill 7, as we know, is the investment in water infrastructure, and wastewater permitting, also known as TIPDs. The agency also received funding and support and increases in staff salaries for a more competitive workforce, which is all very grateful for us. As the state grows, the agency continues to request funds to meet the state's demand for permitting, environmental compliance, and a more efficient processes. Elizabeth will present the budget for the 2027 budget and the agency's legislative appropriation request. I'll turn it over to Elizabeth right now.
Good morning, Chairwoman, Commissioners, and General Counsel. For the record, I'm Elizabeth Cifuentes-Koch, Chief Budget and Efficiency Officer in the Executive Office. I'm here to present the Executive Director's recommended fiscal year 2027 operating budget and the fiscal years 2028 and 2029 legislative appropriations request. This information was compiled in accordance with the General Appropriations Act passed in the 89th legislative session and instructions provided by the Governor's Office of Budget and Policy and the Legislative Budget Board. If you'll look with me at the the recommended 2027 operating budget document. Starting on page 1, the total budget for 2027 is $636 million, including funds from the TURP Trust. This is a decrease of approximately $117 million, or 15%, when compared to the 2026 budget of $752 million. The decrease is mostly attributed to supplemental funding received for information technology items, also attributed to federal funds for the methane emission reduction program and the dam safety grants, and as well as front-loaded riders. The FTEs increased by 3 to 3,207.5. The following page provides our allocation by method of finance. You'll see our fee funds are allocated at 82% of our total budget, with TURP at 32%, and general revenue dedicated accounts at 50%. General revenue is 3.5%. The following page provides our allocation of FTEs by office. The next page provides our allocation of budget by office, and I'll highlight a few of those changes. Office of Administrative Services has a $27 million decrease, mostly due to supplemental funding housed in FY26, which will carry to 27. Office of Compliance and Enforcement has a $13 million decrease, mostly related to the dam safety grant. Office of Water has a $20 million decrease from the Linking Water Wells program and the Rio Grande litigation. Office of Air has a $39 million decrease, mostly related to the methane emission reduction program and the air quality planning grants.
Elizabeth, can we go back to page 2, the method of finding?
Yes.
A huge point to be made here is 50% of our budget is fee funds. 50%. I don't know, there are very few agencies that have to work with that type of budget. So just to emphasize that, we're doing our best.
Yes, we collect over 100 different fees, so.
It's incredible.
Okay, moving on to pages 5 through 8, that provides an allocation of our budget by category. It details the remediation, reimbursement, and grant contracts, as well as the capital budget. The last page of that document provides the allocation of the TERP Trust Fund by program.
All right.
This concludes the overview of the recommended FY 2027 operating budget. If you'll turn with me to the 2028-2029 legislative appropriations request. The first page provides an overview of the baseline request of $944 million by method of finance. This is an overall increase of $7 million compared to the FY 2026-27 budget. This is mostly attributed to the federal funds provided for the MERP grant, or the Methane Emissions Reduction Program. As indicated by the policy letter, agencies are required to reduce its request by 3% or the established base limits for general revenue and general revenue dedicated funds provided by the Legislative Budget Board. This resulted in a reduction of $21 million, impacting the remediation programs for Superfund, petroleum storage tanks, and dry cleaning, and the grants for the municipal solid waste. These programs will be highlighted in the request for exceptional items. The next page provides an allocation of our budget request by strategy. Page 3 provides the allocation for capital budget, which is approximately $60 million for 28-29. A couple of changes are necessary to this page. The first change is the data center services. That project title is changing to shared technology services. The other change is the Title V modernization. The budget for that item should be reflected all in 2028 instead of split between the 2 years.
Got it. Thank you.
Pages 4 through 7 provide details on the agency's exceptional items request. The agency is submitting 6 items totaling $73 million and 126 FTEs. Excuse me. The first item is statewide water resources at $14.6 million and 42 FTEs. With the continued growth in the state, TCEQ must keep up with demand for permitting. This exceptional item includes resources for the increase in workload for wastewater permitting, district applications, beneficial use of reclaimed water and wastewater, water occupational licenses, toxicology, and associated compliance and enforcement needs. Additionally, the request includes targeted funding for the Clean Rivers program, which tests and monitors water across the state. The second item is frontline support at $9.2 million and 31 FTEs. The agency regulates over 834,000 facilities in the state. Additional staff and resources are needed to support compliance throughout the state, which includes investigations, emergency response, and enforcement activities. The third item is permit process efficiencies at $1.7 million and 10 FTEs. The agency has successfully implemented the Sunset Commission recommendations from 2023, which included additions to the public engagement process at TCEQ. Given these enhancements, combined with increased economic activity in the state and an increase in permit applications received, the agency requires additional staff to meet demand for public meetings and to respond to comments. Excuse me. This exceptional item highlights the resources needed to maintain increased level of support for public meetings and permitting, legal, and facilitator services. The fourth item, continuity of operations at 10 million and 28 FTEs. And the fifth item, mission critical support at 16.9 million and 15 FTEs, provide funding for the management of the agency's database applications, address changes in technology, and securely limit access to data. In addition, these items provide critical financial and contractual management support. The last item is restoring reductions to the grant and remediation programs.
Elizabeth, can we go back to item 5?
Yes.
So noted that the Facilities Commission contract costs have increased by 20 to 30%. What is that due to? That seems like a large increase.
Yes, those are our security cost and also the maintenance of the buildings. The overall contractual costs for those types of services have been going up as a result of inflation and just contracting for those types of services provided.
Okay. Thank you.
So the last item is restoring reductions to the grant and remediation programs. TCEQ is requesting restoration of the remediation and grant funds used to meet the 3% reduction. Remediation funds are essential to perform assessments and clean up at contaminated sites, potentially impacting groundwater. The Superfund program was reduced by $3.4 million. The petroleum storage tank program was reduced by $4.2 million. The dry cleaning program was reduced by $1.9 million. In addition to the remediation programs, the Municipal Solid Waste Grants Program was removed, totaling $11 million. These grants support regional solid waste projects and planning efforts. These funds are used to develop and maintain inventory of closed landfills, conduct regional coordination and planning activities, maintain regional solid waste management plans, and administer local municipal solid waste diversion and recycling projects. That concludes the overall overview of the exceptional items. I'm going to move on to rider revisions. The remaining information found on pages 8 through 18 provides a summary of the rider revisions. The agency is recommending 5 rider revisions, 7 deletions, and 2 new riders. I'll highlight the 2 new riders. The rider for the above-ground storage vessel safety program provides appropriation authority for fees collected to support investigations, enforcement, and administration to implement the program. Entities are required to register beginning September 1 of 2027. The second new rider is related to Senate Bill 2037 passed last session, which authorized fees to expedite the processing of water quality permit applications for liquefied natural gas export terminal. The rider provides appropriation authority for fees collected to support overtime and other costs associated with the expediting of the permit. This concludes the overall presentation. We request your approval of the recommended 2027 operating budget and the 2028-29 legislative appropriation requests. In addition, we respectfully request permission to make non-substantive changes to final documents submitted in accordance with instructions received by oversight agencies. Thank you, and we're available for questions.
Thank you so much. No one is signed in on this item, Mary?
Nobody is signed in.
All right. Fellow commissioners, comments, thoughts?
I appreciate all the work that staff's done to put together a budget request that asks for the resources that we need to effectuate our agency's mission. So it's important that we ask for what we need to do our job and to do it well. I noted that our agency regulates an incredible number of facilities in the state, over 834,000. And the volume and complexity of our work continues to grow. We need the people, resources, and the technology to keep up with the demand to serve the state. Though I think all our requests are important, I just want to highlight a couple of those items. I think our request for additional funds for technology is a great opportunity to improve efficiency by modernizing our systems, which will allow employees to spend more time on our mission-critical work. I'm happy to see our LAR includes a request for additional funds to update and support applications. I also think permit process efficiencies is an important request to help us keep pace with the increasing application demands while maintaining the public engagement and transparency that Texans expect. Of course, everything that supports beneficial reuse, as water is such a critical part of our mission here, is important. So thank you to the ED and her staff for preparing and presenting the LAR to ensure that our agency asks for the resources that we need.
Commissioner Miller?
Yeah, I also want to say thank you for preparing this and your thoughtful approach to our budget request. I think it's important to note that we're asking for more water resources, and water is such an important issue in this state right now. So I'm happy to see that also that we're asking for more staff, as we know the workload of this agency continues to increase, and we need staff to help us be able to accomplish that workload. And also wanted to note that our 3% reduction does not impact our current staff. I think it's very important. And I know the leadership of this agency always tries to protect our staff and make sure that they have the resources needed to do their jobs, and this LAR request shows that. So thank you for that.
That's very well said. This is a people-first commission. We put our people before anything. So if we are fully staffed and we have the resources we need for our mission, it's better for the regulated community. And I think last session was a legendary session as far as what the legislature was willing to fund and appropriate to this agency. And we're going to ask for resources again, because again, a fully staffed and fully resourced TCEQ is better for our stakeholders. Thank you so much for all of this work. Elizabeth, I know you just came off handling the strategic plan too, so I don't know when you're sleeping or just having a personal life, but thank you so much. And Shar, you always do an amazing job. And I know that I feel very confident moving forward with this budget request with the exceptional items because of all the thought and all the discussion that was put into these documents. So I'm excited for the 90th legislative session. Well, excited. The 90th legislative session is coming, and we will be asking for the resources we need because the only thing they can do is tell us no. So thank you so much. Really appreciate all your work.
Thank you. And since you wanted to know how I sleep, I have great staff. I just want to say thank you to the Budget and Planning Division and the Fiscal Control Division, and also the two people that helped me greatly, and Margie Lagarde and Tracy Miller. I have run a wonderful team, so I'm really grateful to them.
Well, it's a fantastic document. It really asks for what we need, but there's no fluff in this either. Those exceptional items are necessary for resources. And again, you put together a great document, ready and willing to go fight for some funds. Yep, let's do it. All right. Well, thank y'all.
Motion?
Yep, I'm going. I move that we approve the agency's FY 2027 operating budget and the FY 2028 and 2029 legislative appropriations request as recommended by the executive director. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. Well done, y'all.
Thank you.
All right.
Session. So the commission will meet in closed session in Building E, Room 211S at 9:20 as permitted by the Open Meetings Act, including Texas Government Code Sections 551071 and 551074, to take up and consider matters pursuant to items number 2 through 5 as posted and noticed.
You're hardcore. You gave us 1 minute. This meeting stands in recess. Thank you. The time is 9:20. Oh, we're going to be late. We can do it. We can do it.
The commission met in room 211S of Building E for closed session from 9:22 until 9:24 a.m. on item number 3, as posted in notice pursuant to Texas Government Code, Section 551074. No action was taken. This agenda stands adjourned, and the time is 9:32.